I think it is fair to say that the cream has officially risen back to the top. We have a couple of our superstar players coming back with a vengeance after a bunch of people traded them out. That's really all I'm going to say on that side of things. You know who you are if you did trade him out. And if you were thinking about it and didn't, I'm glad you didn't, because those top guns, guys, they're the guys that you're looking to hold in your team as long as possible, at least until those big buys when they're missing for Origin and stuff like that. Think of it as this, as the real top tier: Cleary's, Murray's, Payne Haas in their position. You got the wing fullbacks, obviously guys like Teddy and stuff, it hasn't really worked out, but Pat when he's playing and those kind of guys in the wing fullbacks. But those top tier guys, the Harry Grants, the Damien Cooks, they're going to have their ups and downs, but they're always going to be at that top echelon every year. So that's something to think about. Then there's the next tier down, and that's where things can happen. They can have a nice run of 5 or 6 games, then they can have a bit of a low stretch. Think of Tarpner like last year. He's still scoring really well, but he's going to have his stretches where he dominates and those stretches where he just is a little bit less on the point scale. So that's that. But a big welcome back to Panthers. Those in the private group at halftime, I said that was so clunky from the Panthers. That was so bad. They literally, when Cleary kicked that field goal at halftime, not one of them celebrated. They literally walked off in disgust and anger at how bad they played. Like the amount of drop ball, like even guys like Isaiah Yeo, who just safe as houses, just dropped a sitter. Like there was so many of those kind of errors in that first half, and I was like, in the second half, they're going to come out and absolutely dominate them. And that's very much what happened. Like the Raiders weren't really throwing much at them, and Panthers just were playing really bad. So 53 points to 12, our biggest win of the year, and was highlighted by, obviously, all Panthers guys here in the top 6. So Isaac Tungo, finally, that breakout game that we've been looking for with him. I spoke about him as being a 45-point gun this year. It took all the way until round 5 for him to get that average above that 45, but this is the center position, and this is what happens each year with these guys. You know, you see what happens with Tony Staggs. He's been like a 20 and a 70 or 60 type of guy. Tungo usually a little bit more consistent. He's been in the low 30s, but this 82 really blows it out of the water, and he was great. And obviously, the outside backs in these types of games are going to dominate. So don't expect it going forward every game, but the Panthers looked a lot better in that second half, and I think they're going to take a lot away from that and bring that into the next bunch of games. But yeah, they finally had a slightly easier game, obviously with no Whiten and things like that. The Raiders seem to really extra struggle, but they haven't been good over the last few weeks anyway. So that's that. Cleary there with 80. So obviously 8 goals in this one, 124 meters. The kick meters just under 400. Got the sneaky try there off the throwback by Lindsay Smith. He was terrific, by the way. 35 minutes for 52 points for him. Amazing work. And 323k is awkwardly priced, and not sure how much game time he's going to get regularly, but he was dominant. 35 minutes there, but in everything. Like he came on, and I was looking for some Hosking tackles, and all I could see is Lindsay Smith's long hair here making tackles in the 15 jersey, not the 12. So that was that. But yeah, Cleary just in a bit of everything. That field goal, he's just so smooth, guys. So he's now up to that 64 average. He's priced around that 66 coming into this year. So a couple more decent scores in the high 60s, 70s, and he'll get back towards that 950k price point that he started with. And I think he's definitely someone that you're going to want in your side. Consistency-wise, he will be back to that. Obviously, you know, he wasn't to start and had the injury, so that is why he did score the 37. But other than that, his lowest score is a 61 when he's not injured. So that probably tells you his kind of his floor, and you know the Panthers will be better than what they were at the start of the season. They couldn't be much worse, for their standards anyway. So Cleary, someone you should be looking to get in your side, along with Nicho Hynes. I'll be looking to run Cleary, Hynes, and Johnson in round 7. So think about that. That's the way I'm going to be playing it, hopefully anyway. With a few of those mid-range guys kind of getting towards their ceiling now, which we'll speak about, especially in that next game with the Storm. Isaiah Yeo there. So he had a 65. Again, just superstar efforts from him. 80 minutes every game. 67 is the average, and he's up a little bit. He's obviously priced really high in those low 60s, so continues to do good work. And just really no negatives apart from that random error. I just mean, he's someone that's just always dominating, and for him to have that random one in the first half was a bit of a killer. But they got it back on track in the second half. I think he was on 42 or something at half and slowed it down a bit when he didn't have to make many tackles in that second half. All right, Zach Hosking. So good to know that different games, different purposes, and different type of job for Hosking. In this one, they did not run at him at all, really. He had very limited tackles, but when he got to tackle, he did well. 24 tackles, 1 miss. Compared to last week, 55. He's still always looking for work. He's still there to make every tackle. They just, didn't really run at him in that first half. And then the second half, the Panthers had all the ball and all the running. So good to see that. And he got so close to a try there. A Cleary try assist for Hosking and bumped off and then fell like that far short. So could have been a double. Could have been a 75. We're sitting here talking about the 11% that own him. Well done for picking him up. Hopefully, at a minimum, he gets next week. That's kind of the thoughts at the moment. We've heard from the physio that Martin likely to be 2 weeks, just the way he was speaking, and then Garner probably 2 to 3 weeks. So, all that could change, but that's just the way he spoke. And so at least a couple of weeks from Hosking, and then if he continues to do really well in this next week as well, then maybe he can keep his spot from there. That'll be the goal. But yeah, he did his job. 59 guys. You're very happy if you brought him in. About what we expected, right? Somewhere in the 50s. So that's good. Yeah, Smith was 52. He was great. Leota with 50 was great. Tarpane, so 48 minutes for him. And then that second half, they just hardly had the ball. When he came back on, he scored, 25 in his first stint. So to still get 23 in that second section. A couple of offloads there, turnover tackle. 29 tackles, about normal for him. But yeah, run meters down with them not having the ball. So definitely a worry. Averaging 55 is not the end of the world. He's still priced pretty well according to that. So not a big issue for Tarpane, but you're hoping for better going forward, that's for sure. And they won't play Panthers every week, and they won't be this bad every week. Hopefully Whiten returns as soon as possible. Sorensen got his time on the edge. Don't look at him, guys. He just covering at the moment. To'o, 46 for him. Didn't get the try, but 240 meters, 8 tackle breaks. Doesn't that annoy you when they get 239? They don't get that extra point, that 9 meters. Oh, killer. 8 tackle breaks, and an offload and a line break assist. So not much for him. 46 is 42.3 is the average overall. He's still priced somewhere down in the low 40s. So if he can get back up to that 50 kind of mark, then he'll be great going forward. Yet Edwards 45 was solid, guys. If you own him, averaging 53 to start the year, great. Taruva there 44, picked up 2 tries early and then didn't have to do a lot. Ran the ball back a bit, but it was a lot of try scoring and less about the base stats in this one, that's for sure. Jamin Salmon came on a lovely try at the end, a great hole run to finish off that game with a nice Cleary try assist to cap it off. Lovely. Hudson Young, 38, so back to a lower score from him, and that did include a try. So 7 missed tackles for him, a couple of penalties and an error. Shows that he is not as consistent as he was last year. He had 2 shockers, 2 really good games, and then this 38, very, very low. So, not good for Young. And if you're looking at him, he still has some money to lose. I still think he's going to be a cheeky one if you can get him in the 500s as a pickup after his buy for sure. We go to Papali'i next, and 37 for him. I think time for him to think about him as an option, I think, is over. So even if he does get to a cheaper price point, I just don't see him having the impact that he's had in previous years. He's just getting a little bit older. Minutes won't be huge, so that's that with him. Spencer Laney is making a little bit of cash. Nice 37 for him was good. Tomoko 36. Again, I think he's just past his price. I don't think he's going to be a keeper long term, like a 45 kind of guy, maybe a 40. But I think he's been priced up too much so far. So avoid him. If you own him, awesome. Still 36 in a game where they got smashed. You take that for sure for any of these outside backs there. And then you've got guys like Starling. If you own him, he needs to go because minutes aren't there. 45 is just not enough. Then you've got the Horse, coming off a couple of tries a few weeks ago. 23 this week. Love that he just comes out of line and just tries to pump people. And what about the niggle, him and Dylan Edwards? That was hilarious. Don't know what he's doing. Like, he could actually hurt Edwards there. And then Edwards just trying to get him back and putting his legs, head in between his legs. And fair enough, I think, for the way that he copped it there. For those who brought in Mitch Kenny, this was a sad one. So Tyrone Peachey came on and took the rest of Mitch Kenny's minutes. And in this one where they were dominating, I think it's a good idea to take Kenny off and give him a rest for those big tackle games. And this wasn't one of them. 27 tackles for him. No running of the footy. Tyrone Peachey's a much more of an attacking style player. So to come on and try and put on a cricket score was the play. And lucky and good on Peachey for getting his first try. Or get his first try this year in his first game for the Panthers. Very good. Fisher Harris, a little bit of a knee complaint. Sounds like it'll be okay. So looking at their minutes going forward, I don't think it's a big worry. Rapinoe with 20, not great. Foggs with 19. He's going to get sneaky cheap over the next bunch of weeks for sure. So down to 646 already. He'll keep going down. A 35.5 average. Very upsetting for those that started with him. There are a little bunch of you, 0.5, but someone to keep on your radar. He could go on a bit of a run if the Raiders can get back to their best. Solo there, so if you got him 10 in 19 minutes, it's time to sell him. He's done pretty well, 111k made, but time for him to go, along with Harley Smith-Shields, so a 4 for him in this one. Just a bit of a shocker, 3 errors, 1 penalty, 5 missed tackles, 66 run meters and 14 tackles. Not ideal there at all for a 4, so if you don't trade him out now, he's obviously going to lose a bit of money this week, but it's going to go worse from there. So bit of a tough pickup, to be honest with you. Now he's averaging 20. He was like 24 before this. That 4 does not help him at all. Did expect better for sure. I expected Canberra to be better for 1. And yeah, he has played better on the wing. So centre's definitely not his spot, even though he's named centre in the game. He's played wing in the past. I'd say he's definitely scores better there. Stephen Crichton with an 8. So I suppose the only good news here, he obviously had the sin bin, but the good news for him is that for us is he's going to get pretty cheap over the next bunch of weeks with a high break even. And we could get him at about a 500k mark, which would be fun. And I'm sure if he'll actually make Origin, to be honest with you. So he didn't play very well last year. And I think with Turbo and the likes of Latrell, I don't think he gets that spot. So yeah, let's just talk about Murray's and Grant's output here, because it was incredible. And then Joshy King, I can't believe so frustrating. If you picked him up, you're actually taking the piss. 500k to start with. Get 550 or something over the first few weeks. Crazy. But Cam Murray, as I said, cream rises to the top. 87 for him, 72 minutes played, only missed that a little bit before half and then came back on pretty well straight away. 45 tackles for no misses, incredible. Did get a try assist in that one and a nice couple of offloads for 150 metres as well. So ran the footy more in these last couple of weeks. What we did see from him though, in that first 4 games at Supercoach, which Whisperer did some research and asked a couple of guys and said that he was passing the ball 4 times more per game than he did last year. So yeah, showed that was happening, but this week he came back and he, 1, looked better, he looked more fit, and 2, he ran the ball more and poked his head through the line and got offloads away and did his thing. In a game where they lost, yes, low scoring meant that second half was a lot of tackling, a lot of running, a lot of work through that, but that first half he was able to get a few offloads away, get a bit of attack. So he's now back averaging 64, which is pretty well what he was priced at to kick off the year. So 64, 65 there for him. And that's what you paid for, which is great. It's exactly what you wanted. Someone that's exceeding what you paid for is Harry Grant, and 87 for him. He's killing me each and every week. He has only obviously gone up 24k. This week he will go up a little bit more. He had a pretty high break even with that 51 last week, but if he continues to get somewhere across around the 70 mark, then he's going to be up price closer to 950 going forward. So again, bit over what you've paid for. Murray, it took this game to come out and get him back close to that average, whereas Grant, it took this game to exceed his what he was priced at. So we're really hoping for him that he'd get up to about a 65 average, and now he's at a 70 with this one. So 65 before this, 70 now. He's been incredible. Got involved this week. I captained him last week in Supercoach, and this week we don't, and this is what happens. That's how it goes. Week to week, eh? Funny game. But yeah, 200 kick meters as well was great. 6 points there, and should be pretty close to a must-have in most people's side. So I'm really hoping that Robson comes out and does really well. At least a 65-70 would be my hope, given that he is priced less, so we don't need the exact same scoring from him. But somewhere decent would be helpful there. Cody Walker, 79. Big game. 30 tackles for him. That was the biggest one for him. Big run meters, obviously offloads and tackle breaks, and a try, so 79. Welcome back to a 50 average. Spoke about him this year as potentially going back to some better scoring. He was priced at 600k, and this 50 average gets him pretty close to 700 if he can keep this up going forward. And their draw does open up a little bit, so they weren't able to win this one, but he's still able to get a good score. Same with Damien Cook, 75 for him, and good to see him getting back to some of his better output. A lot of those top guns, especially these two, Cook and Murray, have lost a bit of cash this year, and this one really helps Damien really level out his cash drops and gets him back to scoring the best that he can. And 75, as we said, cream rises to the top, and Cook did that this week, even in a loss, so no negatives at all. A couple of turnover tackles, ran the ball well. These are his types of games, and he'll get try assists in those other ones when he doesn't tackle as much. And he'll have games where he gets 60 tackles too, so crazy. Yeah, Josh King, can't say much more about him. That pick up and try, he's an agile man. Very, very good, Joshy King. Yeah, is he a keeper? I don't know, he's getting bloody close to it. 61 average over 5 games now is crazy. So if you're picking him up, it has to be this week coming. and because they have the buy in run 9, so that'd be the way I'd be playing it if you're looking at him. Obviously not going to get a try every game, but in here, 65 in base stats. Like, doesn't get much better. 2 turnover tackles in there. Just having an absolute time of his life. Campbell Graham, he's been great this year, guys. 49's his average. He's going good, bad, good, bad, good. And then next week is it going to be bad? I'm not exactly sure, but that's the way that it's trucking at the moment. But a 58 in this one with a try. He just shows how good he is across the board. Plenty of tackles in this one, no misses, 4 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, and can score tries as well. So he's great, doing awesome work. Cammy Munster got 32 tackles, but he got 12 misses. So he did everything in this game. He had 140 run meters, 330 kick meters, obviously 1,000 tackles there, and a try. 56. So really, you get rid of those negatives. He had 27 in negatives, so crazy. You take off about 10 of them, and he's up to a 66, and you're loving life. But a 56, you're hoping for more if you own him. There's 5%, so it's a decent amount that are hoping for slightly better scores. Koloamatangi went off for 6 minutes in this one, so didn't get the full 80, but 51 points for him. Shows again, as I said, that his versatility in being able to have base stats some weeks and then have attacking stats in others. Very, very good for Koloamatangi there. A lot of people are thinking about having him in their side, and that's a good sign to own him. Meaning, if you're looking at trading him out, I think you just hold him until for a good while, because they got 18 points in this one. He picked up 49, and that's keeper level territory for now, and he's priced at 578. So he's scoring definitely a little bit better than what he's priced at. So that's a clear hold at the moment. Tommy, he's a bit up and down, but there's no low scores in there. There's like a 30 odd, and then you just a couple of low 40s, and then a 50 odd from there. So that's that. Eisenhuth, welcome back to him, 45 in his 36 minutes. So he didn't take any away from Trent Lioro or Eli Katoa, who I both haven't spoken about yet. We've been speaking about this game for a while, and we still aren't down to our boys. But Welchie of 44 for him was solid. Again, he hasn't hit the heights of previous years, but a 48 average is fine. Big Trent, not happy with his first half, that's for sure. Look at the negatives in this one. Wow. Neg 16, 18, 21. Base stats are up at 58 again, guys. So very similar to last week, but the negatives were crazy. And most of these were in that first half. He had, I think, a penalty and a couple of the inside 10s in the second half. And then he just went on an absolute rampage of making tackles. So very thankful that he did that. I was watching this game closely, not looking at the scores and just going, oh, Eli Katoa doesn't look very good here. He's not making a lot of tackles. And Trent was going nuts. And personally, glad that Lioro scored better than Katoa, and he was getting a lot of those tackles in the second half, because he's much more of a low ownership than Ellie, who I think is owned by 88% of the top 5,000. And I'd imagine most people outside of that as well. So yeah, Trent, he'll make some good cash again after his big score last week, a low break even. So that's good news. Eli Katoa is someone that we'll speak about now. I think is potentially looking closer to a sell. He'll be up over... Oh, yeah, he might be just over, I think his break-even's about the 30 mark. He'll be just over 600k after this week. And I don't see him being a keeper. He's averaging 51, but over the next few weeks, I think he's someone that you could use to potentially get to Hines. So you're going to need an extra, 400 or so thousand to get to Hines, and Eli Katoa might be one of those guys. Just wasn't his game. Obviously, things looked a little bit better for him in previous weeks when Jerome Hughes was there. And they also won't play the Bunnies every week, who are a really hot side. So Ellie's someone that you could just monitor over the next few weeks, and hopefully he gets better and better. Latrell Mitchell, 41 for him. Better game. Looked great running the footy, so 170 metres. This is something that he didn't get in previous years. He'd run for sort of 70, 80 and put on a try and 2 or 3 try assists and put on it, have him a try himself. But yeah, that was that for Latrell. You're definitely worried about it. I think he's still got a hold, but hope for a little bit better over the next few weeks. Hame Sele, he's someone we're going to have a little look at going forward. For Cam Murray to play 72 minutes and Sele to still get 47 shows his importance and need in this side. So even if he gets 40 minutes, you're looking at scores in the 30s, and it priced at 301k. That's only a little bit, I think it's a 20 or 21 average there. 21? So he's got sort of 10 points of value there, which is nice. Exactly what you're looking for, about that 140, 150k to make. So it could be a nice downgrade option this week. Thankfully, he did get through the game unscathed, so he'll be there next week ready to go. Isaac Thompson, spoke about him a little bit about being a hold this week, just because he covers 2 positions. He has that on again, off again type of scoring. Did get 8 tackle breaks, ran the ball well, got some kick defusals and a line break, which is good. So 40 for him in this game where they lost. Very, very happy with that if you own him. And there's still a huge chunk at 14.4% that do. If you played him, awesome. Even if you didn't, you're happy that he's not going to be losing a chunk of cash this week. Jake Cartwright came out and did all right. GCam there, Smith would say him did a much improved game for him, and still think he's a sell, but that's that. GCam 36, he's slowly getting towards his sell price, which is good. That one helps him out get to make a bunch more cash, but from here, he's going to be the guy that you need to potentially move on as a downgrade option. Yeah, maybe Sele is a good option there. GCam, you could definitely hold him for a few more weeks, but if you're looking to free up some cash, guys like GCam, guys like Katoa, done a great job for us, made us plenty of cash, scored us well. It could be guys to move on. Isaiah Tass, 34 for him. No attacking stats in this one, so a good high floor, in this one for 34 for him, which was great. Obviously, you want the attacking stats as well, but didn't happen. Warbrick, what a try that was, running over Alex Johnson, and then Johnson came out and ran over Munster, I think, which was pretty funny. But yeah, 33 for Warbrick. You get another price rise out of him, averaging 34 now, and yeah, this really helps him with his rises, as I said. And if you had to play him, great. I looped him out, and when he scored that try and he was on 25 in like 32 minutes, I was like, shock. But I was still happy he was scoring well, and then just things didn't really happen in that second half. No real attacking stats for anyone in that second half, and that was that. I also didn't play Ilias, which worked out well. Obviously want him to make money, but that 28, he's going to be one of those guys that I look to move on to pick up Heinze. So Ilias will go to Hines, and I'll have Johnson and Cleary there. So be very happy with that. Ilias has made me about 50k, got me a great score last week. Didn't play him this week, so worked out okay overall. But yeah, just no attacking stats in this one. The Souths didn't, they played okay, but wasn't really their day. And that was that. And Jonah Pezzett, he's opposite there, got 28 as well, so nothing special for him. Johnson, 26 there. Jacob Oates, 23. Don't be looking at him. If you got Moale, 21 there as well. But that's the 2 Friday night games, team. I hope you enjoy those 3 cracking Saturday ones, starting with Tommy Turbo Masterclass up against the Knights. So wish you all the best of luck and enjoy them. See you later.